turn now to a former U.S. ambassador for his thoughts. Daniel Kurtzer was the ambassador to Egypt under President Bill Clinton and then ambassador to Israel under President George W. Bush. He's now a professor of Middle Eastern policy studies at Princeton University. Ambassador, thank you for joining us. What happens next, in your view?
Well, Betty, I think everyone's going to be tiptoeing through a number of minefields. In Egypt itself, the demonstrators and the government are going to have to feel their way toward some kind of an agreement, given the fact that both have so far adopted positions that don't quite meet. The government is standing firm behind President Mubarak's insistence that he will at least live out this term of office, and the demonstrators want him out. So the dialogue that started yesterday has some distance to go before any kind of bridge can be built between these sides. For the administration, the challenges are no less significant. I think the administration has done a good job of balancing our interests, but it's not going to get easier in the days ahead.
It's not going to get easier, and as Peter was just raising, there's all these concerns about perhaps the Muslim Brotherhood coming in and filling this leadership vacuum. In what scenario, Ambassador, can you see that the Muslim Brotherhood would in fact come to dominate politics there?
Well, as Peter suggested in his report, they are certainly the best organized underground movement in the country. And in a country which has had all of its politics suppressed by the government and the security services for over 30 years, being able to come out from the underground in an organized way is going to give it a great advantage. We saw this in other places where Islamist groups in the first election held were able to gain far more popularity than people had assumed. So if in fact there are free and fair elections in Egypt, one can imagine that the Brotherhood would do better than its regular popularity would suggest, and that's potentially dangerous because it could give the Brotherhood a foothold inside the system that it has not had before. And
if that scenario, Ambassador, did in fact play out, what does that mean for U.S.-Egypt relations then?
Well, at bottom, the Egyptian military will remain the arbiter of power in the period ahead. How it's able to navigate its own course with a government that may include Muslim Brotherhood representatives is going to be one of its own big challenges. I think for the United States, we can work with an Egyptian government even if it has some Muslim Brotherhood representatives, but we'll be watching a few key points. Will the treaty with Israel be maintained? Will Egypt's commitment to its security and intelligence relationship with the United States be maintained? Will Egypt's moderate stance vis-a-vis events in the Middle East be maintained?
Right.
These are likely to be the guideposts for the administration as we watch these events unfold.
And how much is that up to the Egyptian military on those points?
Well, I think at bottom, the military will be insistent upon maintaining its kind of Praetorian role where it stands behind politics and keeps those politics within relatively severe boundaries. That doesn't mean that they won't allow some degree of growth of civil society, but the military is going to watch carefully because their ultimate goal is stability, and they want to make sure that that's preserved.
Ambassador, we're going to leave it there, but I appreciate your thoughts. Very interesting. Ambassador Daniel Kurtzer, who was the ambassador to Egypt several years ago under President Clinton.